Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. I appreciate you coming back for another episode. We are in episode number 3 here of Coldborough Park Farm and having such a wonderful time. So we're going to do a little bit of, it's still day 1. We're dragging this day out as really as I guess as long as we possibly can. Yesterday, off camera. After we completed much of the chores that we did in episode number 2, I managed to get all of the animals cleaned up firstly, and then secondly, I managed to get them all of their required food items. We still obviously need to do a little bit of work on the cows. Giving them more water, more straw, more grass, silage, power food, etc. But at least I've got all of the elements that they need, that all the animals need to get up to 100% productivity. So that's, in my opinion, that's kind of a must if you're gonna raise animals on your virtual farm. You really if you're going to raise animals on your virtual farm, you might as well try to keep them and maintain them at 100% if at all possible. Not saying that you have to have all of the elements before you purchase animals, although that helps. We certainly have been able to accomplish that through the BulletBill mod and also obviously buying the pig food. So we've been able to accomplish that, but you might as well work at it and keep that to that 100% rating there, just because it's money in your pocket if you do keep it at 100%, and it's money out of your pocket if you don't. So I'm going to just hop out here because I forgot to close these gates yesterday, and yeah, I'm going to try to maintain my gate awareness maybe as I play this. Try to, anyways. I sometimes get lazy and forget to close gates, but we will try to do a little bit better job at that. So I just want to say, wow. Have any of you watched the latest dev blog that came out from Cattle and Crops? If you haven't, and if you're interested in Cattle and Crops, then why haven't you watched it? What a fantastic video. It's pretty darn impressive to me. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of mowing today, possibly in this. Well, we're probably gonna start mowing in this episode, but not sure that we'll completely wrap it up. But what a fantastic video that they have done. Now, I am participating in the early release process. I was part of their Kickstarter program, and we're just going to park this actually right here for right now. I'll back up just a little bit just in case I want to drive past here. I always tend to leave vehicles in the way, but I'm a participant in the early adopter. I was part of their Kickstarter campaign, and so I will get access to Cattle and Crops, the early access piece of it, sometime in the spring. I think April-ish is the time frame for that, and I don't know what will obviously be represented in that version. Obviously, it's not going to be the full scale game. That's why it's early access. It will probably be somewhat considered beta, I would guess. but I don't know how much scaled down it will be from what we'll have access to when it releases in the fall, I believe is the time frame. But according to the dev blog that they just released, and I think that came out right before Christmas, muddy conditions. Wow. I mean, just absolutely wow. I need to take a drink of coffee here. All right. Let's what we're going to do is we're going to fertilize this this grass field here because well, mainly because we can, and mainly because we need to. And we're just going to use our little John Deere here that is kitted out with the thin tires, the crop tires, so that we can not destroy our other crops as and when we need to fertilize. But we're obviously going to fertilize this grass since we cut it earlier today and raked it and belled. Well, we belled all the grass. Some of the grass we turned into silage bells, and the rest we left as grass bells. But we're going to do some additional mowing down on field number 20, I believe, and we're probably going to make hay out of that. So anyway, I mean, what do you think of the cattle and crops stuff that you've seen so far? You know, in this muddy conditions video that they released, as I said, it was just before Christmas. They're showing, you know, conditions. Basically, they're saying, I think they started off the video saying muddy conditions. You know, the work's still got to be done, and it looks like they're chopping corn into silage. And the tractor pulling the tipper, the Kloss tractor pulling the tipper is really having a struggle getting through the mud and the muck. And it's, from what I'm seeing through the video, and I'm assuming that this is actual gameplay video, you know, I think we all got a bit teased and excited early on when Cattle and Crops released some content very early on, and it was CGI stuff. But I believe that this would have been gameplay video. But how the equipment, the tractor, was really, you know, getting into the soil, causing ruts and such, and actually getting stuck there at the end. It was downright stuck, and had to have a much larger Kloss tractor come with some kind of a tow bar looking connection and get it out. And that's just cool. I mean, I think that's certainly, you know, that's the next level of immersion, I believe, that we certainly need for this genre of game. And you know, if Giant, you know, hopefully Giants is paying attention. Hopefully Giants is paying attention in two different areas. Okay, two different areas. The first area I hope that they're paying attention in, obviously, is with cattle and crops. That's going to be important to Giants' longevity, their ability to continue to market a farm simulator, you know, game, software application beyond what we're currently playing now, FS17. You know, FS17 was perhaps, you know, what we could say night and difference between FS15, and certainly, you know, much better than any of the previous versions, which I admit don't have any experience with. FS15 was my first farm sim franchise video to get started with. So they made the step in the right direction, but from pretty much the minute that I began hearing about cattle and crops, the one thing that I heard from them was that they had been listening to the farm sim community, those of us who are farming simulator enthusiasts, and I'm using that term broadly to describe, you know, the simulation of farming activities. I'm not specifically narrowing it down to just this particular Giants version. I'm talking about the whole, you know, the whole thing. Like flight simulation would encompass, you know, what FSX has done, what P3D has done, what Dovetail Games have done, what X-Plane has done, etc. That the folks behind Cattle and Crops obviously are probably farming simulator enthusiasts who have enjoyed the Giants version, but wanted to improve upon that. So early on, I started hearing about the fact that Cattle and Crops had been listening to the farming simulator community, and the farming simulator community for a very long time has been talking about the fact that, you know, we want this, we want that, we want seasons. You know, I mean, seasons has been something that I think people have been asking for maybe as far back as FS13, and it didn't happen in 15, and it really hasn't happened in 17, unless you sort of, you know, add a mod that adds some additional text to your upper right HUD, and you extend out the growth cycles and however amount of, you know, that you want to do. So having said all of that, Cattle and Crops obviously has been listening to the community, and that's what they're coming out with. Now, that's quite impressive. What I have seen in the what I have seen in the dev blogs and in the video footage that they have released from time to time, it's exactly just that. It's exactly what we've been wanting to see and how we've been wanting to see it, and that to me is just cool. Alright, let's see. I suppose we could just go ahead and cut this, because we are sort of coming up on about a halfway point here, instead of getting off into that much larger meadow down there, which is meadow 20. As I finish off that very, very good cup of coffee. So let's get over here and let's change our driving direction so that we make everyone happy. And let's see. We'll unfold. Switch back over to that front mower, and as long as you're in the front mower position when you do your V key to raise and lower, it will basically raise and lower both mowers at the same time. So I was thinking about, and literally it was just sort of thinking, because you know that our good friend Eustace, Pharmer, did a video. Actually, his daughter Bella did a video and taught us all about the fact that the grass yields are much better with once you if you plow or cultivate the grass that comes with the map. If you get rid of that and plant farm sim grass, that the yields are a little bit better. But we've got so much grass on this map. I mean, we really are what I would consider potentially grass poor on this map. And I've gone ahead and purchased all of these meadows here. So there's there's basically 4 grass meadows here on this portion of the map, and we've gone ahead and purchased all of them and own them. So I think that we've got enough grass to take care of our needs. If we need to, we've got grass meadows, I believe 24 and 25 up there. I believe 23 is a grass meadow where our equipment staging is, and I think that maybe 24 and 25 might be as well. We can confirm that just so that you guys know. Yeah, 24, 25 is grass. All of these down here appear to be grass. 35, and then again, I think all of these over here are also grass as well, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. So I think in FS15, I think I put, yeah, I believe I put an orchard down here in 39 or 38. I think I set up an orchard back there. But anyway, I think we've got plenty of grass, is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm not going to, at least for right now, I'm not going to go through the extra effort on this map to plow up and replant any of this right now. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Back to thoughts on cattle and crops. It would be very cool if if the ground conditions change as a result of driving over it when it's muddy, when it's wet, and if those conditions, i.e. the ruts and stuff that we would put into the ground stay, and you have to either plow or cultivate to smooth that out, that would be quite cool. I mean, obviously in a perfect world, you wouldn't get out there. You wouldn't put your tractor or your whatever out in those types of conditions. But if the job's got to be done, and if you've just got unseasonably wet conditions, then you just kind of got to do what you got to do, right? Sometimes you can have something. For example, there's a farmer. There's a real life farmer that I follow on YouTube, and I believe his farm is up either in Maryland or in Delaware, somewhere up in that neighborhood. And he was affected by one of the last hurricanes that came through, and it sort of came through right around harvest time. And so I believe it was corn that he was harvesting. And so the corn itself, the stalks and everything was capable of drying out after a few days after the storm, after the hurricane had passed through. But obviously the soil conditions and everything had not, and so he still had to get out there with the equipment. And some of the videos that he showed of the aftermath of after the tractors and the harvesters and everything had driven along the field and everything, it was quite a mess. And so he was going to have to that's what we want to have, right? I mean, that's what we want to see in our farming simulator games, especially those of us that want the added level of immersion. I'm not saying that I want to, each and every time that I take a tractor out onto a field, that the conditions are so bad that it gets stuck, and it's I spend more time digging a piece of equipment out than I obviously have time to sort of enjoy the game, because, as I've said before, farm sim to me is a stress, sort of a stress reliever. I have somewhat of a stressful IT job at times, and it's just it's just good to be able to have some fun, to be able to enjoy something other than be stressed over it and whatnot. So but still, if there's a little bit of real life simulation immersion, again, that's sort of what we're all after, right? Is we're all after a level of immersion that is just a little bit different from the normal stuff, right? Let's see, we'll go ahead and start on this other meadow back here. If I remember correctly, with 15, the 3 meadows that I've cut have pretty much been all that I've really needed to supply my hay and my grass needs. But just rough terrain like that. I mean, we have we have terrain in 17, and I think we've had it in 15. We've had rougher, rough type terrain and stuff, but it stays that way. In other words, you can plow over it, you can cultivate over it, you can do anything that you want to do to it, but it stays that way. It's hard coded into the map. It's not dynamic. In other words, that's the word I'm looking for. It's static, and I think if cattle and crops can deliver us some dynamic soil conditions, things that will change over time. I'm not really suggesting that maybe we could bring a digger out here and dig a hole in the ground, although that might be kind of cool to do. Is this pond new? I don't remember this pond being here, and I wonder if we can get water out of it. I'm almost thinking yes, with those tracks there, maybe we can get water out of this pond. That would be cool, especially if it were free. I'm not suggesting that we have the flexibility to go out and be able to dig a hole in the ground, although, again, as I said, that would be cool to do. I just think that, driving over the ground, the soil, a field, if it's wet and it leaves ruts, and then if we don't do anything to that, in other words, if we don't cultivate that out, then those ruts stay. And in other words, it changes, the dynamics of the ground changes, and you can smooth it all back out again. And then if you are driving on it and the soil is dry, then it leaves very little soil damage, crop damage, well, not crop damage, but soil damage. Or if it's really wet, it leaves a lot more. And it would, again, there's going to be times where you're going to absolutely have to go out there. sort of as the video alludes to. But then there would be other times that you would, in your planning, you would be like, all right, well, you know, we're not going to do that today. We'll save that job for tomorrow because we're, you know, if the forecast is bright, sunny temperatures, and hopefully, you know, cattle and crops will incorporate true seasonal weather, so that we would know, you know, that, you know, today is going to be 90 degrees and sunny. Well, that's going to dry some soil out, you know. And then you can make those decisions. You can say, okay, well, you know, we'll go do something else. We'll go tend to the animals, or maybe we have a field that's not as muddy or whatever, and go do that task, go do that job. And then tomorrow, after it's set with a good 90-degree day, we can then go and cultivate that field or harvest that field or whatever, and not cause as much ground damage. I don't know, I'm sort of thinking out loud here, I suppose, giving myself something to talk about here, but it's pretty incredible. And I'm curious as to, you know, I know several of my YouTube friends, Reefy 1952, the Bipolar Prophet. I know those guys are both interested about cattle and crops. I know Mike is Reefy 1952. I know that he is participating in the Kickstarter early access program. I don't know about the Bipolar Prophet. So I sort of already know Mike's thoughts and such. I'm curious about everyone else's. I mean, what do you think about that? And if you really want to share your feedback, because this video you will see this video before New Year's Day. If you head over to PCSG, you have just a few hours, well, a day or so, day and a half or so left, and well, actually, let me correct that, because I'm not real sure when this video. I know this video will release before. I know this video will release before New Year's Eve, but I don't know if it will release a couple of days before New Year's Eve or if it will release on the day before. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if you haven't yet already, and if you're interested in cattle and crops, and if you're interested in the opportunity to win a version of cattle and crops for your very own self, head over to PCSG and sign up for an account if you don't have one already, and then reply to the thread. We have a contest thread over there, and the folks that sign or that register for the giveaway will be entered into a random picker, and we will be announcing, we'll be doing the drawing on New Year's Day. I'm doing that, and then we will be announcing the winners on PCSG. Alright, well, we are approaching our 30-minute mark, and so I'm going to just go ahead and start my goodbyes and just say thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you all hanging out with me here on the YouTube channel and watching my videos. And we'll get back to Goldcrest in due time. I've wanted to sort of get a little bit further along with this series, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to be doing the same thing on Goldcrest that I'm doing on Coldborough Park Farm. So in other words, we are on Goldcrest as I'm sitting here right now today, recording this episode of Coldborough Park Farm. My Goldcrest series is about to enter day one of winter. And as I said before, winter's probably not going to last as long and there's probably not going to be as many episodes. I mean, here we've managed to get 3 episodes out of day 1, early spring, because there's been enough to do. But there's not going to be enough to do on Goldcrest Valley during winter time to establish like 3 episodes per game day. If we're lucky, we're going to get 1 episode per game day. So my thought process on this is that because I don't want to be doing the same things on both series, I'm going to sort of do Coldborough Park Farm until we get into probably at least into summer. So you're probably going to see 5 or 6 more episodes or so of this series before you're going to start seeing Goldcrest back into the rotation. Then once we get to a point where I feel like that we are doing different things, we're soon going to be able to harvest here on Coldborough Park Farm, probably the next game day and maybe even the next video, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go ahead and do the raking, tethering, raking, and baling of this stuff that we've cut here. I'm probably going to do that off camera, and then when we come back with the next video, that probably will be mid-spring, game day 2, and we'll have a field or 2 that we can also start harvesting, and we'll just say that we planted that in mid-fall or so, and it's already available in mid-spring. And that way we can start doing a little bit of different tasks here on this map. But I am really enjoying gameplay on this map. It's super fun, and I'm going to be doing a mixture of things. I'm going to do some off-camera stuff, just stuff that either I felt like either we've done before or I've done it before on other maps, and it's not that important in telling the story, or just stuff that I want to do. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please head over to PCSG. Also, check out the 3 Dudes Gaming Network. You'll find all the links down below. And if you have a question about a mod that I'm using that you're seeing in my gameplay, check it out on my mod spreadsheet. You can see that at grizzlybearsims.com. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it, and hope you are having a wonderful last part of 2016 and a very happy new year for 2017. Take care now. Bye-bye.